Everybody, welcome to Just Upright. I hope you guys are doing great. My name is Doc Jing Ruder. I'm a doctor of physical therapy. I'm your foreign educated physical therapist guide to US application. So, guys, today will be light and easy question, okay, that I'm going to answer. I want to give this advice because I did not receive any advice when I was applying to the US regarding this topic, and it's important for you to understand and be guided so that you won't be spending so much money on things that you won't really need, okay, depending on your position or type of job as a physical therapist here in the US. So what we're going to talk about today is what kind of car do you need, okay, because it will depend on where you will be assigned. There are so many factors that you have to ask your employer, okay, and really if you really need one, okay, that is a real question, okay. So that's what we're going to try to answer when we come back in a few seconds. Okay, so about the car, so you have to ask the question first, okay, what kind of physical therapist will you be? Are you going to be a traveling physical therapist? A traveling physical therapist is a 13-week assignment per building or per facility, okay? So I was originally a traveling physical therapist. That's why my agency back then applied me for 5 states for licensure. So I had five physical therapists license in 5 states. Okay, because that was what I signed up for. So 13-week assignment. But it ended up that the first company that I was assigned, they renewed my contract, and I want to stay in that facility as well. So they renewed my contract for more than 3 years that I have been with the agency. So I really did not travel, okay? But it is a factor to consider. If you're gonna be a true traveling physical therapist, then you will need an SUV, a bigger car, not necessarily a van or minivan. SUV will be a good choice for you. Okay, the right now, I changed my car because my first car broke down. I had a Nissan Rogue that is like a CRV of Honda, equivalent to Nissan. But now I have the Toyota RAV4. It's a used car that I got. Okay, so the only thing is, if you're a traveling therapist and you're going to be hopping from one state to another, one building to another, moving every 13 weeks, you cannot accumulate a lot of stuff, okay? So you cannot buy this, buy that, and it's going to be horrible with moving. But ideally, of course, your agency should help you with the move, okay? You're not just going to be moving on your own. Okay, but for the car wise, if it is, a traveling job, having a sedan may not be ideal for you. Okay, so the best car, there are so many brands of cars, and I know nothing about cars. My husband knows a lot about cars. What I learned is that when I change my car, when I need to a newer car, but we got a new used car. The highest, one of the most sought after used cars are Honda and Toyota. Okay, so Honda and Toyota, because they are longer lasting than other cars. Okay, so even if you Google it, and if you go to dealership, if they're being honest with you, those are the most sought after cars, and their resale value is higher than other used cars like Chevy, okay, or Kia or other used cars, okay? Because we're not talking about the high ends Audi, and other Mercedes Benz or whatnot. These are the practical cars. And depending on who you ask, but most of them will tell you that if you really take care of your car, the Toyota and the Honda, or the Honda, if you do the maintenance, the checkup, the oil change, the tire rotation, all the good stuff to take care of your car, okay, it can last a long time. So it can drive up to 200. Some people will say can last to 250,000 miles. Okay, if you take care of the car. Of course, parts will break down and you need to repair and replace different parts of the car. But that is what I have learned, okay, in my search for a new car for myself, okay. And I really love my RAV4 right now. It's a used car, but again, it drives so well, and it can last a long time, and I plan to take care of it. Okay, so that's the first thing that you have to consider, okay. Are you a traveling therapist? I would highly suggest it's gonna be a RAV4 at least, a bigger car than a sedan, okay. Another thing that you have to consider if you're going to get a car, because your agency or your company will ask you, okay, to have a reliable car, is that where are you going to be assigned, what state, okay. So you have to research your state. Is it up north where the snow is tremendous, okay? Is it in the mid part of the state where there's some snow but not as horrible as the up north, and down south there's no snow, okay? Why am I saying this about the snow, okay? If you're gonna be assigned in a very snowy area, I would highly recommend that you get an all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive car. It has a better traction than the two-wheel drive, okay? So I live in the Midwest, so we get some snow here, not as horrible as up north, like in the Wisconsin area or Michigan area, those are, or upper Chicago area. When they get snow, they get a lot of snow, or New York or New Jersey part area, okay. But with my two-wheel drive before, even like a slight slope for the carport, I had difficulty getting up on that snowy carport area because I only had a two-wheel drive, okay. And also the factor for that is you have to make sure that your tires are not worn out, okay, when you are driving on the snow, because it can be very dangerous if you are driving on the snow with a worn out tire. So that's the second factor that you have to consider if you're going down south in Florida area, Alabama, Georgia, okay, down south where there is snow, or Texas, there's no snow, okay, or very rarely that they will have this very cold weather, let alone snow, okay. It doesn't matter, okay, you can have a two-wheel drive, okay. It doesn't matter, you don't need traction unless you want to be adventurous and go up the hill, and then you want a different kind of car for that. But for snowy areas, you would want four-wheel drive, okay. And of course, you have to have a good set of tires for that when the snow comes, okay. The third thing that you have to really consider is, are you going to be assigned in a city, like for example New York, like in the Manhattan area, Queens area, okay, where there is a good train and bus services, or in Chicago, Chicago area also have a good train and bus services. I can attest to this too because I experienced them, okay, and they are frequent, and I know physical therapists like in New York who do not have any car since they've been here, because they've been relying on train and bus, okay, for their transportation. So if you're gonna be assigned in a city where there is good transportation, okay, the buses and the trains and taxis, okay, and you don't have to travel the a rural area, like provinces, fields, cornfields after cornfields after cornfields, okay? If you're not in the country area, okay, you may not need car, okay? Because again, I know some therapists who do not own any car because they are living in this area with good transportation system, okay? So those are the factors that you have to consider, okay? But of course, guys, it is tremendously important that you practice how to drive, okay? I grew up without a car. I just learned how to drive before, few months before I came here to the US. And it is a nerve-wracking experience, okay? So if you are still in your own country, before you come here to the US, please practice how to drive, not just once or twice, but many times. Be good at driving because it can be very intimidating here in the US if you do not know how to drive. People here are careful compared to the Philippines where I came from, okay, because people here are afraid on hitting something or somebody because their insurance is gonna get rocket high if you are involved in any accident, okay? But it's when you go to the interstate, the big roads, okay, people can drive crazy, and if you don't know how to drive and if you don't have the guts to drive, then you can be very nervous and highly anxious and you can get into an accident, okay? So I hope, guys, that is helpful. A practical tip for you guys before you come here to the US about what kind of car do you need, and if you really need any, your employer or agency should be the one facilitating this, ordering the car for you on your behalf before you come here, okay? So what do you think? Do you have any interesting story when you first drove here in the US? You can share that comment below. And also, if you have any other tips about cars for our fellow foreign educated physical therapists who's coming over here, let us know your tips for them so we can help them out as they start their life here in the US as a physical therapist. And also, guys, just a side note, you know, you don't have credit history here in the US. So your guarantor will be your employer or your agency. Okay, and because of you don't have any credit history, the price of the car that they're gonna give you is higher than normal. Okay, because I think that's how it goes. If you don't have a credit history, your guarantor again will be your agency or your employer. And also, if you can ask them, can I just have a good used car instead of brand new car? If they can find you a good one, that will be easier to pay than a brand new one that will cost thousands and thousands of dollars and will take years to pay, okay? So if you have any other comment, clarification, suggestion, put your comment down below. I would love to hear from you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe to this channel, share this video, and like this video so that we can reach many more foreign educated physical therapists around the world. Until the next video, stay blessed.